Hello, thank you so much for joining with me today. If you're new to this channel, a very warm welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate your support. Today, I'm going to talk about the Baha'i Faith. But before I say anything at all about them, I want us to take a look at the beautiful Baha'i Gardens that are on Mount Carmel in Haifa, Israel, the second largest city in Israel. The place where thousands of pilgrims and tourists venture each day to see the beautiful, beautiful garden. In addition to these gardens, the Baha'i Church has produced some of the most amazing modern architecture in their houses of worship. And I'd like to introduce you to just a few of them. Beginning with Australia, these are the unique, beautiful houses of worship. This is Germany, followed by India, then Samoa, Uganda, and the United States. So what is this fast-growing religion that is producing these wonderful things that is now considered by some to be the 9th largest religion in the world? It's between 7 and 8 million followers. We're going to look first at how it began and then take a look at some of their basic teachings. Well, they began with a young man named Sayyid Ali Muhammad al-Sirazi, meaning from the city of Siraz. I am going to tell you more about him in just a minute. The thing is that this religion came through the influence of Shia Islam. Now, at the time of Muhammad, way back at the beginnings of the Islamic faith, when he died, there was a split among his followers regarding who should take his place. And the Shiite followers believed that it should be his direct descendants. And they thought that this would result in 12 imams, or imams. My pronunciation of some of these Islamic words is not so good, so please forgive me before we even get started. Well, 11 of these imams died, but the 12th one went into what's called occultation, which means spiritual hiding. and he's expected to return to redeem the world at the time of Judgment Day. And at the time when this young man, Sayyid Ali Muhammad, was born in 1819, there was the consideration that this could happen soon. And in addition, there was always an emphasis in certain groups of the Shiite Muslims toward an esoteric interpretation of their scriptures. And because of these ideas, the esoteric ideas and the waiting for this messianic figure were emphasized, it set the tone for people to be looking for this Messiah person. Well, Sayyid Ali Muhammad was known even as a young man as a holy man and a mystic, and he declared himself to be al-Bab, that is the gate to the hidden Imam. And that was the beginning of Babism, and it caused some disturbance among the Shiite scholars. His followers were known as Babis, and they were persecuted. In fact, they were imprisoned and killed in large numbers, because it was a popular and fast-growing movement. In 1848, he claimed to be the hidden Imam himself, but he spoke also of one who would follow, who was going to be greater than he was. It's kind of the feeling of John the Baptist talking about the coming of Jesus. One was going to come who was more influential and the one whom God manifests. So let's take a look right on their website and trace then the leadership of their religion down to today. So now I want to take you right to Baha'i.org, to the official website, and go through each of the founder and the leaders and the structure of the faith. So the founder is called the Bab. 1819 to 1850 were his years. The Bab is the herald of the Baha'i Faith. In the middle of the 19th century, as a young man, he announced that he was the bearer of a message destined to transform humanity's spiritual life. His mission was to prepare the way for the coming of a second messenger from God, greater than himself, who would usher in an age of peace and justice. So following the Bab, we have the Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah means the glory of God. This was the promised one foretold by the Bab and all the divine messengers of the past. Remember, I mentioned the esoteric and messianic view of Islam, which was carried through and translated into this religion. Baha'u'llah delivered a new revelation from God to humanity. Thousands of verses, letters, and books flowed from his pen. In his writings, he outlined a framework for the development of a global civilization, which takes into account both the spiritual and material dimensions of human life. He endured 40 years of imprisonment, torture, and exile. Now, in his will, the Baha'u'llah appointed his oldest son, Abdul-Baha, as the authorized interpreter of his teachings and the head of the faith. Throughout the East and West, Abdul-Baha became known as an ambassador of peace, an exemplary human being, and the leading exponent of a new faith. Now, his years were 1844 to 1921. Appointed guardian of the Baha'i Faith by Abdul-Baha was his eldest grandson, Asoki Effendi. He spent 36 years systematically nurturing the development, deepening, and understanding and strengthening the unity of the Baha'i community as it increasingly grew to reflect the diversity of the entire human race. He passed away in 1957. And finally, we have the House of Justice, the Universal House of Justice, which leads the Baha'i Faith today. The development of the Baha'i Faith worldwide is today guided by the Universal House of Justice. In his book of laws, the Baha'u'llah instructed the Universal House of Justice to exert a positive influence on the welfare of humankind, to promote education, peace, and global prosperity, and to safeguard human honor and the position of religion. So what are some of their current beliefs? Well, they believe in the unity of God. They're strict monotheists. There is only one God, and God is one, but God is transcendent and unknowable. And everything we know about God comes from reading the words of the prophets. And like Islam, they believe in many prophets, beginning with Adam, and of course, in their case, going through to the three prophets that we just spoke about a minute ago, where Islam stops with the Prophet Muhammad. Now, so everything we know about God comes from these prophets. And therefore, the words of the three prophets mentioned for the Baha'i are authoritative words in their religion. They also believe in the unity of religion. That is, all major religions are the same religion with slight differences or adjustments. They believe in the progressive revelation. That's the same thing that Islam believes in. That these prophets each speak to the people, time, and place in which they're living. They have a message for that specific time and situation. And with time, as circumstances change and religions evolve, the message changes. And the Baha'i, as I mentioned, have even more prophets than Islam because they accept some of the speakers and teachers from other religions as well. Even at least one Native American Indian teacher or speaker. So the new prophets appear when the revelation has to be expanded. And finally, they believe in the unity of the human race. Mankind also evolves, and we are all a single tribe. Humans are all one, and the correct religion for the world's present time is, according to them, the Baha'i religion. Because all people are a single tribe, they believe in the equality of all people and are against any religion or organization or government that causes division. They're against things like racism or nationalism. They're against, they reject consumerism and believe that science and religion should be in harmony and that they should complement one another. Let me see, I have a few more things about their religion. They have no clergy or special roles. The laws of their religion are considered guidelines, and that a person, each individual, will accept them gradually as they become more spiritual and more involved with the faith. They pray 3 times a day. They have their own calendar of 19 months, 19 days each, with some extra days in the spring to make up for the difference in the actual year. And 1 month is daily fasting, and that's the month of Allah, which means loftiness, and it coincides with the beginning of our month of March. Well, the Baha'i on their website have a section called Life in the Spirit, and there's discussion and articles of all the major aspects of their faith: devotion, prayer, meditation, pilgrimage, service, fasting, and giving. So if you want more information about any of those things, it is easily found at Baha'i.org. Now, these people have been persecuted in Iran and continue to be so, and in other places in the Middle East. So now their largest contingent of members is located in India, but they are also in the Africas and in Europe and the Americas, in almost every country of the world. This persecution is for political and for religious reasons, but it continues even till today. So before I end, I just want to say that the pictures from the Baha'i Gardens were reproduced with the permission of the Baha'i International Community, and any quotes or pictures from their website is, as I mentioned, Baha'i.org, and those things are copyrighted by the international community, but we have permission to use them. And I'm going to leave links to things about the gardens and the Baha'i and other things regarding them in the description box. Well, I hope you found this informative and have a better idea now of, when you hear about the Baha'i Faith, what they mean and what they stand for. There's a lot more, and as I become more informed about their faith and beliefs, I'll try to do additional videos on them. If you have any experience or you're a member of the Baha'i yourself, I hope you'll leave us a comment and tell us about your experience. And also, if you have any questions, please leave those as well, and I'll see if I can find the answers if I haven't already covered them. I do hope you enjoyed this and that you'll join with me next time when we'll talk about another religion. In the meantime, please stay safe and well. I'll see you real soon.